Hi, it's the Contest Queen, and this is the August Good Vibes chat on positive thinking. And I started a minute early to let everybody come into the live, and also to make sure, I'm just going to do a little tech check to make sure that I actually am live. That would be good, right? Yep, I am live, just doing a little tech check. And making sure if anybody out there can just let me know if they can hear me. Can you post a comment? I would appreciate it to make sure the sound is good. I know we have one person live, so maybe they can let me know if you can hear me or I'm just a talking head. Oh dear. Let me see. Oh, looks good. Okay, that looks good. You hear me. Okay, it's always good to start a minute early to make sure the tech is good. I think I'm going to have to leave this up for because I see comments. I'm using StreamYard as you can, as you can see by my little logo there. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yay. I know it's always nerve-wracking when you're trying different things. I attempted a Facebook Live yesterday using Zoom to talk about scams, and there was a little bit of techie stuff. So what I'll do is when I go post this on YouTube, I can edit out a little bit of the techie stuff at the beginning. I'm learning how to do this stuff. Yay. So what I wanted to talk about was something that is really been around for a long time, and somebody wrote about it, right? Vincent Peale, who, by the way, I just discovered was also friends with Helene Hatzel, because this won't be out till next year, but I've been working on her third book. And not only did she hang around Jose Silva and Dr. Joseph Murphy, but she also was friends with Mr. Peale. Holy moly. This lady hung around with some real powerhouses. Wow. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was because, especially this year with the pandemic, it's something a lot of people are struggling with. It's hard to feel positive when things are crashing down around you. And that's the paradox of positive thinking. So the power of positive thinking isn't the absence of negative thoughts. It's the power to hold positivity even when you have negative thoughts. So the expression, this too shall pass. So you can have a negative thought, you can have an angry thought, we're human beings, we have a whole range of emotions, that's how we're built. It's just not to live your whole life in negativity or frustration or anger or sadness. It's to live it generally in positivity. And also, and it's not an or, it's an and. This is something I learned from Robert Ohotto, one of my favorite teachers. It doesn't have to be an or. You don't have to be happy or sad. You can be happy and sad. So you can understand at a core level that things aren't great right now, but you're also knowing that in the bigger scheme of things, things will pass. So I was reviewing this today because I knew I was having the talk tonight because I've been working on so many other things. And I did not remember that he had written, how do I do this to the camera? This way. Oh, I don't know if it can focus. Oh yeah, they're sharp there. Literally all these books on positivity. How fantastic. Look at this. Guide to Confident Living, The New Art of Living, Positive Principle Today, Sin, Sex, and Self-Control. That's got to be an interesting one. Stay Alive All Your Life, Enthusiasm Makes a Difference, Tough-Minded Optimist, Faith is the Answer, Positive Imaging. You get the idea. Now, he was also religious, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but I think you can pull the messages and separate them from the religion. So you don't have to believe the same, you don't have to be of the same faith that he was in order to garner his lessons and his teachings. This was first published in 1952. And amazingly, a lot of the stuff still holds up today. Like, I'll just give you an example of some of the chapters. I don't know if any of you have read it. If you've read it, give me a little comment there. And I can also share, this is the reason I wanted to use StreamYard, is if you have questions or comments, I can share them on the screen for everybody. Well, so this book has 17 chapters with a preface, an introduction, and an epilogue. So basically that's 20 chapters. And he teaches you step by step. So first you have to believe in yourself. A peaceful mind generates power. How to have constant energy. Try prayer power, which, even though I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, and I totally believe in prayer power. How to create your own happiness. Stop fuming and fretting, which isn't always easy. And sometimes I think you have to fume and fret to get it out of your system. I'll talk a little more about that later. But to me, things like that are a little bit like pus coming out of a wound. You need to get it out for the healing to happen. So I like, sometimes you have to lean into it. Kind of like sailing, right? You have to take the mast and you have to turn it to a certain angle of the wind to catch it and go. So you have to kind of lean into it to get that momentum. So sometimes you have to lean into those hard emotions to go through them. Kind of like Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. Because again, back to this too shall pass. So expect the best and get it. Now, that is a good chapter. And it also ties in. See, this is what I find fascinating about having studied so many different teachers and so many different works and books and podcasts and now videos and movies and all these things. Sylvia Browne, who I had the pleasure of seeing once in person before she passed. Wow, she was amazing. She said, if it's in your path to have a house, why not get the best house that you are destined for? If that's in your destiny, why not get the best? And what I mean by that is people say, well, why wouldn't I? Well, what do you mean by your destiny? Well, I could decide I want to go and be an Olympic gymnast now, but at 53, it's probably not going to happen. And I'm not very athletic, so the chances of that happening, no matter how determined I am and how positively I think it's probably not going to happen. But yes, believe and you will receive. So yeah, and Helene said that. She said, you will see it when you believe it. So we can talk a little more about that. Don't believe in defeat. So Helene would always say that it was just a delay in results. So if she didn't get something right away, she's like, oh, it'll come. It's just not here yet. It's on its way. Maybe it's taking the back roads. How to break the worry habit. I only worry occasionally. Power to solve personal problems. How to use faith in healing. When vitality sags, try this health formula. inflow of new thoughts can remake you. Relax for easy power. How to get people to like you. Almost like how to influence, what is it? The power to influence friends. And oh my gosh, why is the title of that book escaping me at this moment? And a prescription for heartache, and how to draw upon that higher power. So also, what I find is interesting is he has Vitality Stags try this health formula. They've been showing, now see, what's really fascinating is I would love to have him kind of come to today and take a look at the different things that are around and how people are teaching and how people have moved forward. Because one of the things that they're saying is the gut health is extremely important for mental health. And so if your gut is unhealthy, then even if you try to think positively, you might not physically be able to because of your gut biome. So they're actually showing that, you know, eating clean, which is really difficult to do. I try to do it, but it's hard. And taking probiotics, which I do every day, help your brain because your gut is healthy. And they've even done studies about these tribes in Africa and how they have gut biomes that nobody has, and they're like very happy people. And we've lost a lot of that. So scientists are trying to figure it out. And unfortunately, the biggest killer of our gut biome is sugar. So if you have Netflix, I don't know if it's still on there, but there was a documentary, I think it was just called Sugar. Wow. It's amazing how much sugar is in everything we eat. So far, does anybody have any questions? I don't see any questions anywhere in the comments. So let's talk a little bit. I just want to go through this and talk a little bit about it in reference to other teachers that you can use. And the other thing that I've started doing, which is really great, because I haven't had as much time to read as I'd like, is I signed up for Audible. You know, I've seen this thing, free offer for 30 days, try it. And so I got Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. And I was like, wow, this is great. So I've listened to a couple books. And my next one is The Untethered Soul. I think it's by Mark Nepo. And so that's going to be great. And so what I do is I listen to those on my walks. Plus, I signed up for a Crowdcast. Is it Crowdcast? No, Castbox. There's so many different services out there. Castbox. And I listen to a lot of different podcasts. So Hay House has a podcast, very positive. I'm listening to Inspiration Nation. I've downloaded Joe Rogan, love him. So do millions of others. I listen to, what's the yogi one? Let me just see. I'll show you who I follow. So I don't listen to all of them all the time. Some of them, I've got Hay House Radio, You Can Heal Your Life. I just signed up to Literally with Rob Lowe. Why not? Because I heard him on Joe Rogan. Thought it was interesting. I got Smartless, Inspire Nation, Wisdom of the Sages. I've got the Dean Graziosi show. I've got Gary John Bishop's. He hasn't started yet, but it's supposed to be coming soon. I've got Hay House Meditations, which I want to start doing. I've got Brené Brown, but she only had a few things. And I have Radio Lab. I have What's Happening with Chris Hayes. I have The Daily from the New York Times. I don't listen to always the news ones. It just depends on what the topic is. I tend to stick to the ones that have more positive topics and things like that. So you can listen to that. So I listen when I drive, I listen when I go walking. And then, of course, as you've probably all know, I've said before, I work with Robert Ohotto. So not only do I help him, but I also listen to a lot of his works And then I sometimes pull quotes and make picture quotes from him. He had a great one. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah, that's yesterday. It's Blur's Day. Healing isn't about making yourself whole. It's about remembering you are already whole. I was like, wow, that is a good quote. So it just shows how many layers we have as human beings. And it just shows how it's like climbing a mountain. You know, a lot of us feel this way sometimes. 3 steps up, 2 steps back, 3 steps up, 2 steps back, and you're thinking, holy moly. But you'll get there, you know, and you have to believe you can. Oh, Carolyn says, I love positive quote. Oh, here, let me see if I can share this. Show. Ha! I love positive quotes. It's fun to keep positive quotes list in a notebook to go through when you lose focus. Oh, yes! Why don't I do this? I will show you. I don't have a notebook, but I do have... it's stuck. A fat folder called Affirmations. Look at that. And I have everything from ones that I had up on my, sometimes I'd put them up in the bathroom, and look, I've got a meditation wheel there. Look at this. I've felt this for a long time, and what do you know, I'm doing it. My purpose is to introduce and teach the universe to millions of people. I haven't hit millions yet, but I'm getting there. Oh, this is a good one for this positive thinking. Okay, I need to learn how to hold this right in front of the camera. It says, I'm okay with things passing and fading away in my life. I will be okay no matter what happens to me or those around me. I let go of my hold on life and allow life to simply flow around me and through me. Relax, let go, and accept everything as it is. That's a great quote. Now, that said, it doesn't mean you should accept things that are unjust, and you can do things about them. That's why we're having all the protests now, because people say there's also a thing about boundaries. It doesn't mean that you get walked all over. Oh, you know what? We found this on our pillow. We stayed in Disney in 2012. Before I got a divorce, we took our daughter to Disney, and this was on the pillow one night with a chocolate at the Wilderness Lodge. And I thought, oh my goodness, it says, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. Wow, how profound is that? And of course, what I'm doing right now is don't forget to write. Now, this one I wrote, and then Amy Kincaid had these little sweepstakes affirmation cards. Since we are in a Good Vibes chat group, which we're all sweepers, right? It's called the Good Vibrations Sweepstakes Club. So on the front it says, don't just dream it, win it. Sweepstakes Vision Affirmation. And I wrote this when I hosted a convention back in 2007. And I had the entire room chanting it. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And you could really feel it. And that vibration, I swear, we were all winners after that. It was so good. So I know we can't see each other, and I know we're not all in the same room, but I want everybody to say this with me. And actually, some people might be watching this on a replay or watching this on YouTube later, but I want that energy out there. And Helene talks about, thought forms floating around. So let's put all these thought forms out there, these thought bubbles. And so, the prizes that are floating by will pick up on it. I am a winner. Oh, wait a minute. I need to say it with more conviction. I am a winner. I'm a prize magnet. I'm a grand prize magnet. I have placed my win requests with the universe, and I expect to be enjoying my prizes very soon. I am filled with good luck. Good luck flows into me like a river flows into the ocean. I share my good luck, joy, and excitement for life with everyone I meet. I truly appreciate all the amazing opportunities and wonderful prizes that flow into my life. We are all lucky. We are all winners. We are grand prize magnets. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, I can totally feel it. It's amazing. So even though with the pandemic and a lot of prizes disappearing at the beginning of the year and things slowly getting back into the swing of things for bigger prizes, there are things to be won and there are ventures to be had, and we can still get them. And amazingly enough, there is still enough for everybody. You don't have to be greedy about it. So this one, I also saw Esther and Jerry Hicks, who channel Abraham. People have different feelings about them. Some people like it. Some people find them too harsh because they don't I think they leave out the action part of it a lot. You know, they say, just get into the vortex, just get into the vortex. You know, but even Helene, you know, she would sit and she would meditate. I can just picture her, because I did meet her. I can picture her in her easy chair, you know, meditating. And so she would, you know, meditate in the prizes and fully expect them. But then she took action. There's a whole story in the Name It and Claim It game about how she decided she was going to win these prizes. But then her and her girlfriend drove around to every single supermarket location in their like area. I don't know how many there were, and filled out all the entry blanks in each store. Like they didn't just sit on the couch and hope the prizes showed up. They took action. They went out and got them. And then even when she had a bad feeling about one of the stores, she bugged the manager. She called them up. She followed through. Didn't just show up, but she worked for it. So you can't just, you know, idly sit by and think it's going to happen. So yes, there's positive thinking, but there's also positive action. Here's another one I have. My thoughts are the basis for the attraction of all things that I consider to be good, which includes enough money and health and wealth for my comfort and joy. That sounds kind of limiting now that I hear it. Isn't that strange? I don't think I like that affirmation. I'm going to just put it to the universe and put it in the recycle bin and let it go to the universe. So the other thing to do, sometimes I write out goal lists, and so, oh, this one, I love it. This is a little like post-it note to the universe. You guys have to copy this. It's gotten a little blurry because I think I had it taped in the bathroom. Universe, if anyone has something great coming to them and they are not willing to take it, send it to me. I am open and willing to receive all of your blessings. Thank you. I love that one. That's one of my favorites. Again, that's positive. Positivity. Maybe you guys can share some of your favorite positivity things in the in your comments. So I also learned how to say affirmations. And I used to like to say them in the morning because they say when you first wake up, you're still connected to the universe. So when you sleep, you shut down your conscious mind and it allows your subconscious to connect more fully with your higher self and the universe. So when you first wake up and you're still in that half asleep, half awake state, that's the time to say your affirmations because you're easily connected. So that's when I say my affirmations. Now, the big one that I say right now is actually kind of generic. And to me, it's about my soul contract. So I ask that myself, and I say my name, live out the highest potential of my soul contract with every clause, see, I don't know what the clauses are, be executed to the highest good of all and with the most benevolent outcome for all in each. And then I say, amen, and I kind of put it to the universe. But I used to have a sweepstakes one. So I say, I now choose to, so this is a combination of how to put in requests with the universe, a little bit of Ellen Watt, a little bit of Jack Canfield, a little bit of Joe Vitale, and I think it's Mary Robinson is the last person. It's a little bit of all of them, and I take their styles. I took all their styles, and I put it in this affirmation. So I said, I now choose to request and receive to win hundreds of prizes, including all 4 C's valued at, and I put $50,000. I haven't had a $50,000 year in a while. In 2013, this or something greater. Thank you. And I would envision the piece of paper getting folded up into a little ball and just going out to the universe. So that worked for quite a while. And then I want to talk about see, it's not, to me, it's not just positive thinking. It's also how you vibrate. So I think what happened in 2013 is I moved out. So my winning went down after 2010, because then I started my divorce. We ended up staying in the house together for a few years while we settled all the finances. That's pretty common, I think. And then I moved out in 2013. And so while I was going through all that struggle, I wasn't feeling like entering was part of it. So you're not going to win if you don't enter. Hello. And another part of it was when you're just, when you're feeling sad, you vibrate at a lower level. Oh, I don't have, I've seen it on the internet, and I don't think I can share screen on this because I don't think I've said, oh, I do have it. Don't know if I can do that. Let's see if this will work. I'm going to, I guess you're supposed to have these things ready when you talk, but I'm learning. Oh, let's see. I think I can do this. Okay. I'm going to pull it up on my screen, and then I'm going to share screen, and let's see if I can get this picture to work. Oh, well, I don't know how. Share screen. Okay. Let's see if that works. Allow. Oh. Okay, I can't share that. Screen 1. Okay, well, I can't do it. But anyway, the idea is that certain emotions vibrate higher, like joy and passion, enthusiasm, and some are much lower, like worry and anger and sadness and hatred and grief and depression. And so you could almost feel it in your own stomach. Like when I talk about the word joy, you can feel that. And when I talk about the word grief, you can feel that. Like it's almost like different notes on a piano, right? Some are higher and some are lower. And so emotions have their own kind of frequency like that. And when you say those words, you can feel it. And so when I was going through my divorce and I wasn't really happy and I was still coming out of it, so I was finally divorced, but then, it's kind of like a little butterfly in a cocoon. It's got to stay there for a while and transform, and then it finally comes out after. And it's still a struggle to get out. And so I was doing that, and I think we all have periods of that in our lives, and it affected my winnings. I didn't really win anything big. There was a 10-year gap between trips, and of course this year I was like, oh my god, I'm going to win so many trips and nothing because of COVID. Oh well. So here, I'm going to show this. This one is from Melinda. It says, I've been contesting 24 years. Ooh. Yeah, I'm coming up on the 20-year mark, Melinda. There have been times when I don't enter often for months because I'm at a low and often changing phase in my life. Yes, up and down. It's like it's like riding a wave. I've learned to accept this and not beat myself up mentally for stopping my contesting hobby sometimes. That is perfect. That's exactly what happened to me. And I always tell people the hobby will always be there. I have marketing books. I talk about sweepstaking as a viable form of marketing back to the 1900s. People have been entering sweepstakes for over 120 years. This is not going to go away. It's actually only increased. I've only seen an increase since I started in the last 20 years, and I'm pretty sure people who've been entering longer have seen it just explode because of technology. It's not just big companies anymore that can afford to do sweepstakes. Heck, I give away copies of my own book because it's easy. I just post it on my blog, or I post it here, or I share it there. It's so easy for small businesses to give things away and attract attention to their offering services, products, whatever, that there's a lot of things to be had out there that weren't available back in the day. It was only large companies that can afford TV time or radio time or big print ads in the local paper could host a giveaway, or you'd have one in your shop or restaurant or whatever and hope it was only people that came in that would see it, and how many of those would enter. So it used to be, it was very, very different. And yeah, so I was feeling low, and it really did reflect on my hobby. Yes, I won, but I didn't win to the level that I did before the divorce. And I always kind of knew that I wasn't going to win big again until I was happy, because the vibration would then start matching prizes. And sure enough, at the end of 2018, I had been single for quite a while. I had dated a few people. It was, the universe gives you a few tests. And then I was lucky enough to meet George. And in 2018, I moved in. And by that fall, I had won the first trip I had won in 10 years. And I honestly think it's because I was happy and I was vibrating higher. So now, all that said, going through my ups and downs, I still thought positively. I knew things would get better. Even though I was sad sometimes, I'm a positive person. Some people just go through life overall generally happy. I believe I'm one of them. I'm not always happy because I'm a human being and I have a wide variety of emotions just like everybody else. And that's the beauty of being a human being. We get to embrace all these emotions, and some of them suck, but that's okay. Right? Isn't that? Because we wouldn't appreciate the good stuff if we didn't have some of the stuff as bad. And then Eckhart Tolle says what you label as good and bad doesn't make a difference, because sometimes what we think is bad is actually good. So he gives a parable in one of his books, I think it was in A New Earth, about a man who won a Ferrari. Right away it caught my eye because he talked about the guy winning a car. Hello. So Eckhart Tolle talks about this guy winning a car. And the parable goes like this. So a man wins a car, and his friends are all like, "You're so lucky." And he says, "We'll see." And he's driving along one day, and he has a terrible accident. The car is destroyed, and he winds up in the hospital. And his friends come and visit him in the hospital and say, "Oh my gosh, you're so unlucky." And he said, "We'll see." And while he's in the hospital, there's a terrible storm and there's a lot of flooding, and his house gets washed away in the flooding. And his friends come back to visit him in the hospital, and they say, "You're so lucky you were in the hospital and you weren't in your house because it got washed out to the sea." And he said, "We'll see." So, 1 minute he's lucky, 1 minute he's unlucky, 1 minute he's lucky, 1 minute he's unlucky. But each thing leads to the next, right? So if he didn't have the accident, he would have been in the hospital. He wasn't at home. It's, we label it good and bad, but it is what it is. So sometimes if we think something's bad, it might actually be leading us to something good. So, yes, Sandy says here, I'll show you this. You can't appreciate the good without going through the bad. I totally believe this. You can't appreciate time off if you have too much of it. Oh, haven't we all had a little too much time off? I loved it because there was that meme that was going around that was saying, people would say, "Oh, I'll get to cleaning out that closet when I have more time." And then they had more time. And then the meme was something like, "Yeah, now that you've had more time, we know that that was just an excuse," something like that. It was like, yeah, that's just an excuse because let's face it, you really never were going to clean out that closet now that you have the time. But it's been a little odd for me because I work from home. So my life in a way hasn't really changed. I sit in this little room and I write. I'm writing 2 books right now. I'm writing Helene. So I'm working on Helene's 3rd books. Right now, this is going a little bit slow because I'm focusing on, I'm writing a 3rd edition of How to Win Cash, Cars, Trips, and More. So I'm looking for sweepstakes stories, by the way. Anybody out there that's listening, please send them to me. And what started off as just a little update, I've decided to pretty much overhaul the whole book. So, and I want to publish it the 3rd week of November. So I'm kind of working on that one a lot. And of course, then I also have clients. I work on projects and things. So there's a lot happening in my day. And then I do things like this. I want to teach people how to have more fun in life, how to be positive, how to maybe when they're having a bad day, pull up some sweepstakes. And it's funny because sweepstaking can be used 2 different ways to win. So sometimes when I was in a good mood, I would sweepstakes and think, okay, I'm positive, I'm vibing high, I'm going to win. Because in sales training, I took sales training. In sales training, they always said, the best time to make a sale is right after you made a sale. Why? Because you're in that zone. You're vibing, you're feeling good, you've got that, that energy, that connection. And I changed it. The best time to win a prize is right after you won a prize. So while you're feeling that excitement, go and enter some more sweepstakes. Put out that energy. Pull in that joy. Put it out there. But sometimes if you're miserable, you're having a bad day, sitting down with a cup of tea, well, for me, a cup of tea, and just opening up some sweepstakes and entering actually is the other way. It's almost like a balm, it's soothing. It's like, oh, it's getting my energy up. And then I'm looking at I'm entering and I'm looking at the prizes, or I'm finding new sweepstakes. I'm like, oh, that would be good. And then you start thinking of good things. And so sometimes sweepstaking can actually bring your vibration up and make you happy when you're sad. So it's not, some people think that if you're in a bad mood and you're entering sweepstakes, you're not going to win because your energy is low. But I think it can actually be used to bring your energy up. So I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but that's how I feel when I enter. So it doesn't necessarily matter how you feel, but the underlying thought, though, either way, is that I'm going to win. Even when you're having a bad day and you feel kind of down, you're not entering think, well, why am I wasting my time? You really already kind of believe. I shouldn't say kinda. See, there's the Toastmaster in me. I hear my mistakes. You believe that you're going to win because you wouldn't enter, right? If you didn't think you weren't going to win, why would you waste your time? That's why we like those people that don't think you can win sweepstakes, because they don't enter and they leave all the prizes for us. Right? And Kay, you're never too late. You're never too late to come to a stream. And you know what? The beauty is afterwards, this will be on demand and you can watch it anytime. So I just want to go over a few more things from the book. And I'm not going to read any parts of this book because, you know, you can go get it. I'm pretty sure there's even an Audible version. Maybe you can put it in and, you know, listen while you drive. Yeah, we've got, I agree. That's Melinda. She said, yes, I agree. Contesting brings hope and faith to me and boosts my mood. Yes. How fun. I mean, what more fun way can you think of to boost your mood? I mean, in some of these books, they say, you know, even Helene says it in the book that I'm editing right now. She talks about dancing. She put on some tunes and dance and get all her frustrations out, right? There's a lot of people that are athletic. They'll go for a jog. They'll get the kinetic energy moving. Some people go to the gym and, you know, punch some bags or lift some weights, you know, just get the kinetic energy out to shift their mood and to pick up their vibration or to expel any negative energy. And it's also, you know, they say it brings endorphins. So that's what I think one of the reasons I like walking in the morning and collecting pin codes, because one, I'm out in the fresh air. I'm getting a little bit of sunshine because it's summer that early in the morning. Yay. And I'm walking. So I'm, you know, burning calories and building those endorphins. And I'm looking for codes, thinking I'm going to win the whole time. So I'm really like layering all the levels of positivity there. So, you know, I'll just read the epilogue, actually. I think it's kind of good. It said, so you have finished this book. What have you read? Simply a series of practical and workable techniques for living a successful life. Now, it's interesting because successful life is subjective. What may be successful to you might not be successful to me. So we have to take that with a grain of salt. You have read a formula of belief and practice which should help you win victory over every defeat. And examples have been given of people who have believed and who applied suggested techniques. These stories have been told to demonstrate that through the same methods you can obtain the same results that they did. But reading is not enough. Now go back and persistently practice each technique given in this book and keep it until you obtain the desired results. Who does that sound like? Helene Hadsell. And where did she learn that? Jose Silva, who also hung around Norman Vincent Peale. See, they're all teaching. This is one thing I've come to find with these type of teachers. They're all saying the same thing in a different way because different people need to hear it in different ways. And you also are evolving and growing as a human being. So a lesson that I might have learned at 20 or something that I'm learning now wouldn't have resonated with me when I was 20 because I wasn't far enough on that path, or I hadn't got to that part of my soul evolution to absorb that lesson. Or how many times have you, say, read a book like this, and then years later you're, you know, cleaning out a box or something and you find it and you go, oh my gosh, I haven't read this forever, let me pick it up. And you read it and it's like a whole new book. And you're thinking, holy moly, how did I not know that? So I wrote this book out of the sincere desire to help you. It will give me great happiness to know that the book has helped you. I have absolute confidence and belief in the principles and methods outlined in this volume. They have been tested in the laboratory of spiritual experience and practical demonstration. They work when worked. Oh, that's a good quote. It works when it works when it's worked. We may never meet in person, but in this book we have met. We are spiritual friends, and I pray for you. God will help you, so believe and live successfully. So isn't that interesting that they all say the same thing in very different ways? Right? I think Helene has it in one of her books. As you think, see, I'm looking up because I have all these quotes on my bulletin board. As you think, so you shall be. How's that? So I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's been 45 minutes me yammering about the power of positive thinking and the different affirmations. So I had some more here at the end. Let me see if I can find a good one to close with. And I also had you know what? I'm going to read you guys. I know what I'm going to read you guys. Helene always used to include this in everything. And it was called the Desidera. And I included it in her book. She didn't have it in her original book. But she used to print it out and give it out to students who you would come. So it's just over a page. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Yep, we're all here for a reason. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for there always will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Yes, don't compare. Some people, you might see other people winning more prizes than you, or whatever, however you deem it. That's not how you should look at it. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Wow, isn't that prophetic? Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Yes, we're seeing that now. Be yourself. Well, who else is there? Especially do not feign affection, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kind in the counsel of the years, graceful surrendering the things of the youth. Yep. Nurture strength of the spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. I love that passage. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And wherever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. Again, whatever's going on around you, be positive. Again, back to positive thinking. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it's still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. That was written by Max Ehrmann in 1927. And I'm going to end on that note. And I want everyone to have a very positive evening and a fantastic week. And let me know what you thought if you're watching this on demand.